The following is a presentation of TFNN. It is now time for Living a Primal Lifestyle with your host, Nico de Hann. And now, here's Nico de Hann.
Hi, folks. Welcome to the show. This is Nico de Hann on Living a Primal Lifestyle. It's a great day here in Central Florida in Clearwater. And the number here to call me is 877-927-6648. We also have an international number, 727-445-1044. I'd like to remind you that Health Signals newsletter is out, issue 6 for the year. Please pick that up. You can try it free, of course, for 30 days, as you can do with all the newsletters here on TFNN.com. And, of course, you can always reach me by email at nico@tfnn.com. And remember that these shows are archived on tfnn.com on iTunes, and my video version is archived on the my new website, which is livingaprimallifestyle.com. Also, my blog is on there. You can check me out on livingaprimallifestyle.com. Hope everybody's doing great in the chat room, on the internet, streaming live on the internet, on Tagger TV, and on the radio today. So we got a fine show coming up. I've been training hard for the Pan Ams for the past 3 months, and the Pan Am Jiu-Jitsu tournament is next weekend. In fact, I think I'm fighting on Saturday in the brown belt division. And very excited about it. Last Wednesday, I believe it was, is when I got injured. Of course, it always happens before something big. You know, you get injured. But it wasn't anything that I couldn't overcome, thank goodness. I thought when I first landed my ankle to the floor, it sounded there was a big crack. I thought, oh, geez. But it didn't hurt, so I wasn't too worried about it. But I did go to an orthopedist just to make sure. And, of course, they took x-rays and found there was no break, nothing really torn. It was just a big bruise. Even though it didn't show on the outside, it was an internal bruising. So I've definitely been limping around and rehabbing myself. And I think it brings up a good point when you're active in sports or just even in everyday life, there comes times when you're going to be injured. And it's important to get over these injuries and do it correctly. First of all, you contact a professional to make sure of what the status of the injury is, so you can do the appropriate measures to heal yourself. In my case, a sprained ankle, deep bruising in the ankle, so I had a little bit of internal swelling, not too much swelling on the outside, so you couldn't really tell, no bruising on the outside, but definitely limping when I walk, and I couldn't put too much pressure on it in the first few days. It's been about a week and a half now, a week ago Wednesday, so a little over a week. And my limp has gone away, just about 90% of it's gone away. So I feel good about that. I did ibuprofen the first day to reduce the initial swelling. And then I don't like to take ibuprofen on a continuous basis too much unless there's something really seriously wrong. And then I'll take it for about 10 days. Ibuprofen has some side effects, of course, not good for your stomach and not good for your liver. So that's one of the reasons I really don't like taking a lot. But I started day before yesterday to take it again because now everything started feeling a little stiff, and I knew that was probably because of the swelling that was taking place. And sure enough, as soon as I started taking the ibuprofen, about 45 minutes to an hour later, things improved. So I'm going to be taking for it about 3 days. I think tomorrow will be the last day I take it, and then I can really gauge where I'm at. But I feel that by Saturday I should be good to go. And I really have, the only thing I've been doing pretty much is my ab workout. I've also been doing a lot of swimming, which I hadn't done most of the winter. So it's nice to make a change in your routine because things do get used to what you're doing. In other words, your body gets used to it. So I've been doing a lot of circuit training, 5-minute intervals and 1 minute resting. And I usually do about 5 intervals of those. So that's been working very well. I feel very strong. I'm at my right weight. I'm about 174, and I pretty much stay at 174, 173 without much variation, no matter what I eat. So that's real good. The other thing that happened is, of course, as the age groups get higher and higher in the Pan Ams, fewer and fewer people are in them. Last year I was in the Senior 3, which is 46 and up, and I had plenty of competitors, and I didn't medal. I lost my first match, and then I was out. This time, I wasn't getting any responses from, there was no competitors coming in my division, which is Senior 5 in middleweight. So yesterday I get an email from one of the competitors that's in Senior 5 in the lightweight. And he said, well, he says, it'd be nice just to go there and get a gold medal just for showing up, but it'd probably be nice also to meet somebody of my own caliber and, fight them and, be into the match. And he said, I'm lightweight. I walk around at about 163, 164. Would you consider coming down to my weight and we can fight each other? And, so I called him up right away. His name is Richard, and seemed like a really nice guy, real down to earth, and been a runner most of his life, kind of like me, so I feel we're kind of in the same ballpark. Now, he'd been a brown belt for 3 years, he said. I've been a brown belt for less than a year. So certainly he has much more experience than I do. But I said, it's hard for me to drop because this is my natural weight, and for me to go down would be hard because I'd have to go down about 10 pounds. His division cuts off at, I believe it's 168, which means I'd have to drop down to about 164 and then 4 pounds for the gi. So I'd be right on the borderline, might even get disqualified. So I said that wasn't an option for me. I said, well, why don't you consider coming up to my weight, which means he wouldn't have to do anything because all you have to do is go under the weight. So I said, well, let me think about it, and then, I'll give you a call back. And certainly I got an email about a couple hours later saying he had talked to his teacher, and he said, he posed the question to his teacher, what kind of person would I meet at the Pan Ams? And his teacher was very bright. He said, you'd meet somebody just like you. So I thought that was very cool. Anyway, he emailed me back. He says he's stepping up into my division, so we'll be fighting each other. We'll be fighting for the gold. So I wrote him back, and I thought it was awesome. I said, this is really what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is about. It's the camaraderie, it's the competition, but it's also participating in this and gauging yourself, because competition really is a gauge. And, it's stepping up in front of an opponent that's much like what you are, much at the same level, around the same weight, and then you're going to battle for an award. But it's really battling for yourself, engaging, and that's what I take from it. So very excited that I have a match, and I'm going to be either coming back with the gold or the silver. Either one will be great. I'd love the gold, of course, and I'd love to beat him, and I'd like to do it in a classy and a great style. So I'm really looking forward to it. Flying out on Thursday. I'll be there till next Tuesday. And a lot of things going on there. Also, great about the Pan Ams is that we have 30 guys from our dojo going, and that's the most we've ever sent there. Usually it's 5 or 6. I think last year we had 7 or 8. And so 30 of us are going. That's a great representation of what we do at Gracie Baja Clearwater. So very, very proud to be part of this team that goes there. And, of course, my professor, Eduardo de Lima, a 4th degree black belt, is going to be fighting also. And he hasn't fought in quite a few years, but he has a lot of gold medals and silver medals and bronze medals from the Pan Ams and from the Worlds and from all kinds of competitions. So, and he's the one that teaches us all his techniques. And he's, if you watch what he does, it's just an amazing at what level he really is. So very excited. I also got a message from Mike, who is one of our purple belts, and he had come to see me at the Nature's Food Patch to do my lecture. And he'd had quizzed me for many, many months about the paleo diet, and that he wanted to straighten out his diet. And I'll read this to you. Hello, Nico. I wanted to shoot you a quick update on my progress because amazing things are happening. After your seminar, I got stricter with the diet and felt amazing, but I gained about 10 pounds and realized I was eating too much. Eduardo, who's our professor, advised me to keep my meals no bigger than my fist, and once I did, it was like flipping a metabolic switch. I've been dropping weight fairly swiftly, and my life and training are more energetic than ever. I don't require 8 to 9 hours of sleep anymore. I get 5 to 7 and never feel tired in the afternoon anymore. After work, I feel as rested as I did in the morning. My mood is comparably better. I feel incredibly well. Oh, and my horrible allergies seem to have disappeared. I had them at the beginning of allergy season, but they faded as I went primal. Maybe just a coincidence, but I'm very pleased about that. The allergies were like a chronic flu symptoms and made me miserable. The best part is that I'm very motivated and I want to keep stoking this fire so bad I'm not even tempted to stray. No way I'm giving this up, and I thank you for your advice and guidance, Nico. So thanks, Mike, for the nice message. And this is just a sample of really what happens when you do go on a primal or paleo diet. The effects are dramatic. And it's not just the feeling good and the energeticness, but it's also your life gets to be a better quality. You're in a better frame of mind. You're thinking a lot more clearly. It really affects all aspects of your life. And the change, it can be quite dramatic for a lot of people. I notice for some people it's very difficult to give up certain foods, and I understand that. But, I mean, if it's going to change your life that much, I think it's something that you need to really consider. It's made huge differences in my life. I told you, I think a couple of weeks ago, that even my hair color was starting to come back. And I was speaking with my wife in the morning, and she says, she says, it's been about 3 weeks since I've had color, and this is about the time that gray starts to come back in her hairline. And we noticed that the gray wasn't there anymore. And so it's starting to happen to her too. It's happened to Tom and to other people I've spoke to. So, the diet can make a huge difference. After all, we're getting much more in tune with our environment also, because we're eating, the foods that are part of nature as compared to foods that are just manufactured and processed and highly processed. And, of course, highly processed food is the worst, and the less processing that the food has, the better it is. And remember that the grains, and that's specifically what we address here, the grains are always processed. They cannot be eaten without a process. They have to be cooked. They have to be hulled. They have to go through, 5 or 6 different steps just to get them to be able to be put into some kind of food. And also, they're never fresh. They've been around for a long time. These seeds can be laying on a shelf. They can be laying in these bins. They can be laying in these silos for months and months and sometimes years on end. So, think about fresh food. Very important. Also very important is that you pick up the newsletters from TFNN.com, and specifically Health Signals newsletter. Real important. So check out the website and try Health Signals for a month. $10 a month. You get it twice a month on the first and third Friday of each month. So please pick that up, and you'll gain a lot of knowledge about how to get yourself healthier. Also, number here, 877-927-6648. I'll be right back after the break, folks.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective and maximize your returns. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor, Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of The Money Masters with Tom O'Brien, seen daily at TFNN.com, author of Mastering Probabilities, a daily investment and trading newsletter, and teacher of the money game. Studies show that 3 out of 5 people are afraid for their life in trading these markets, and the number one reason given is fear of loss. Look, fear stands for false evidence appearing real, and the money game proves it. Lesson number 1, don't risk more than 1% of your trading capital on any trade. Why, you ask? Because 35 trades in a row where you risk 50 cents and make $1 are all you need to double your trading capital, versus the 230 losing trades in a row you would need to bring your balance to $100. Let me teach you more about the money game risk-free for 30 days. Go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, for your 30-day risk-free trial. You were born to be a money master, and I'll teach you how.
X-Story Gold Mines, an NYSE Amex-listed company trading under the symbol XG, is slated to be the newest gold-silver producer in Argentina. X-Story is forecast to produce more than $250 million in bullion annually, beginning in 2013, at a cash cost of less than $200 for each ounce of gold produced. That forecast will make X-Story one of the highest margin operators in South America and a sector leader in the mining industry. X-Story has $50 million in its treasury, having spent over $60 million to date on drilling and engineering. The ultimate size of its Argentina discovery could be determined by year-end, as results from the 6 drills operating at the site are fully assessed. To find out more about X-Story Gold Mines and their exciting growth potential, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE Amex under the symbol XG.
This segment is brought to you by Great Panther Silver. For more information, just click the Great Panther Silver banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. This is Nico on Living a Primal Lifestyle. And on the phone, we have Charlie from Daytona Beach. Charlie, how's it going today?
Pretty good. Nico, I got a question for you.
Sure.
I'm 52 years old, and I'm 6'2", 180 pounds.
Okay.
I stay in really good shape. I work out a lot, and I do a lot of physical work. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people compliment me how young I look and stuff, but I got this problem right around my belt line. I got, you know, what they call a spare tire.
Yeah.
Now they call it like a muffin top, and underneath that, you know, fat, it's my abdominal muscles are as hard as a rock. I do, you know, crunches and all kinds of, you know, different exercises to keep that tight and toned up, but I just can't seem to get rid of this fat.
Yeah. Well, of course, what that has to do with is diet. Okay.
And here's something else too. I try to keep a lean, you know, carbohydrate diet as far as the simple carbohydrates. Mm-hmm. Most of my dinners consist of protein and a complex carb, like steak and beans, or, you know, maybe pork and spinach, or you know, chicken and peas or something like that. And a lot of times I notice too, if I really lean out the carbs a lot, sometimes I feel like weak.
Yeah.
And then I put the carbs back, and then it's like I got energy, but then along comes with it, it's like an inflatable balloon around my belt line.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're talking about. A lot of times what happens is, of course, most of us don't eat a lot of fat.
Uh-huh.
And that's really the biggest problem, because back in the primal situation, back in the Paleolithic era, our ancestors really ate the bone marrow, which is all fat.
Okay.
And we've taken most of the fat out of our diet. And even when you're eating steaks and that, the fat that's in those steaks, if they're not grass-fed, they probably don't have a lot of omega-3 in them. They probably are low in saturated fat. And that's really what's missing from our diet.
Okay.
So I would recommend is, upping your good fats. And good fats would be a saturated fat. And if you can't get it from animal products, a good substitute would be going to the what they call tropical oils, which is like coconut oil.
Okay.
So if you have breakfast and you like eggs, I would fry them in coconut oil. And maybe they have a product called coconut butter also that several companies make, and use that as a supplement. And I think you'll find when you start upping your intake of fat, first of all, you get much more satisfied with the food because fat makes us satisfied.
Right.
And the second thing that happens is that it kicks our body into fat burning. So what they call dietary fat, which is fat we eat, doesn't get stored.
Right.
What happens with carbohydrates, and beans are a carbohydrate that I would stay away from, any kind of beans, because they're really a starch. The green part of it is very small, and they do have a lot of starch in it, so I would recommend not doing that. And your body is probably, if you've been eating a certain way for quite a while, your body is used to probably burning more sugar than it is fat. So you want to get into the fat burning zone, and that's the only way you're going to lose that spare tire, and that's the only way you're going to start seeing those abs. Also, calorie restriction helps in a sense, too. And just like my buddy Mike that I was talking about, if you put a piece of meat in the palm of your hand, that's about the right portion that you need.
Okay.
And with the fat, you're going to find that you're going to be much more satisfied, so you don't need to eat quite as much. You don't have to restrict it to a point where you're starving yourself. Right. But you need to be in such a situation, like if you're eating breakfast and all of a sudden you realize it's 2 o'clock and you're not hungry, then you're in a good situation. But if 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock rolls around and you have to eat something, you're not eating enough fat.
Okay.
And that's a good way to gauge it. And everybody's a little bit different in what they need, so you're going to have to experiment. But that's the key, is the carbohydrates aren't that necessary. The greens that you're eating are fine. With the spinach, I would do away, like I said, with the beans. And the meat, maybe get the better quality meat. Go to the health food store or try to find places around Daytona that sell grass-fed meat or chickens that are in their pasture and their natural food. And I think you'll do better.
Right. And something else, too.
Yeah.
I notice there's some fruits that I eat that I swear it feels like it dissolves it quicker, and one of which is grapefruit.
Yeah. Well, all fruit is mostly fructose. And fructose plays a real trick with our body. First of all, we store it very quickly. And the only way we can store things in our body, again, is storing fat.
Okay.
So I would do away. If you're going to try to lose weight, do away with fruit, especially not juicing it, but eating it also.
Okay.
Okay.
And are there any foods that you know of that have enzymes that help dissolve fat?
Sure. You want to hang on for a minute?
Sure.
And we'll talk about this after the break.
Great.
Stick around, folks. Number here is 877-927-6648, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
This is Tom O'Brien. If you want to get great trade setups and equity as well as the option market, come over to TFNN.com and test drive my daily newsletter, Market Insights, for 2 weeks absolutely free. Each trade setup comes with a profit projection as well as stop placement. Included in Market Insights is a Twitter alert service. This allows you to take advantage of intraday setups. Volatility is back in the markets. What does that mean to you? To me, it spells short-term opportunity each and every day. The days of trending up on lighter volume are gone. We have come off the highs with volume across the globe. Don't get caught in a complacency trap. Many of the indices have given back 2 months of trading in 1 week. We have a trader's market. You can take advantage of this trader's market by test driving my daily newsletter, Market Insights, free for 2 weeks. Market Insights will give you the edge you're looking for in the markets. Go to TFNN.com, under newsletter, hit the Market Insight tab for your 2-week free test drive right here, right now.
In the world of financial markets, there's a new player in town with an exciting new way to trade the markets. Nadex now offers binary options as well as bull spreads in a wide range of indices along with commodity and forex markets. With as little as $100, you can gain access to a new way to trade global financial markets while guaranteeing that your risk will always be capped. Nadex allows you to multiply your trading opportunities in ways never imagined before and access markets you once thought were out of reach. With short-term trading opportunities available, including binary options expiring each hour the market is open, Nadex allows you to take advantage of a variety of market conditions regardless of volatility or market direction. Now is the time to take advantage of this exciting new market. Don't let this trading opportunity pass you by. Open your account today by clicking on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Nadex, a better way to trade.
Put the power of the Chapman Wave methodology to work for you. No matter what market you trade, what time frame you trade in, or your trading style, the Opening Call, Basil Chapman's daily market newsletter, is bursting with the information and trades you need to become a more successful trader.
I've been using Basil Chapman's Chapman Wave methodology for several years now. His Chapman Wave can be used for any time period for not only equities, but futures, currencies, commodities. I've been also a subscriber of his Opening Call, which I find an invaluable tool to help me analyze the potential of the market each day. He gives you opportunities to go short and long. It includes recommendations on stocks. I strongly recommend people using the Chapman Wave, and I very, very strongly support the use of his Opening Call.
To find out more about Basil Chapman and his Chapman Wave methodology, and to get your 2-week free trial of the Opening Call, a $64 value, visit TFNN.com today.
Hi, folks. Turns out my best student became my best teacher. Steve Rhodes absolutely raised my standards, and I'll guarantee he'll raise yours.
Thanks, Tom. What I've learned is that if you want more, you must become more. And that transformation, folks, that occurs the moment you decide to become a master. Now, the quickest way to mastery is through immersion. And for 2 solid days in Denver, Boston, and Tampa, I'll create a new standard of wealth for those few trader investors who have a burning desire to succeed. At my Master Trader course, I'll teach you how to create the ultimate money machine. These are the best-kept secrets in the business. Roadblocks, folks. Dabblers give up when they first appear. Stressors last just a little bit longer, but masters expect roadblocks and achieve extraordinary results when they bust right through them. I have all the benefit of knowing the type of wealth creation that I can generate for you. You don't. That's why I'm making this unconditional money-back guarantee. If for any reason you're not satisfied with my Master Trader course, I'll refund every penny. That's right. I take all the risk, and you get all the benefit. Go to the homepage at TFNN.com and sign up today.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Living a Primal Lifestyle. On the phone, we have Charlie from Daytona Beach, and we're really talking about how to kickstart your body into a fat-burning situation. And Charlie, you mentioned that are there any enzymes that help in fat burning, correct?
Correct.
So, fat burning is really regulated by 2 hormones. One is the hormone insulin, and the other one is glucagon.
Okay.
And glucagon regulates the ketones from the liver, and that's from dietary fat going to the liver, and that turns it into what they call ketones, and that's used as fuel by the body. Now, they work in conjunction with each other. So when insulin is used to normalize our blood sugar in our body, so in other words, if you're eating something that spikes your blood sugar, insulin all of a sudden pops its head out and says, I need to normalize the sugar because it's too high in your body. And when that happens, insulin is actually the fat storage regulator. Okay. So what happens is that when you're using the insulin, you raise your storage of fat and decrease the ketone use of that as a fuel, and you may be using more sugar. Because when you're eating like a vegetable or a fruit especially, or grains and things like that, the blood sugar is raised and insulin has to get rid of it, and the only way it can really do that is by storing it, which it stores it. And as much as it's storing it, the less it starts to burn. You may be in a situation where you're used to burning sugar if you get hungry quickly and it sort of makes you a little bit grumpy, that's really one sign that that is happening. If you're losing energy in midday, that's another sign that that's happening, because your blood sugar drops and you lose energy, so it's not tapping into the sugar anymore. And remember that sugar is a fuel that burns very quickly.
Right.
So after a couple hours, it's gone, and if your body can't tap into your fat cells, then you're not going to have that access to the fat, so your body's craving some kind of food to replenish that sugar. So how do you tap into those fat cells? It's really by increasing your fat intake. It's really that simple. Dietary fat, like I said, is fat that's not stored. It's actually burned. So when your body starts using more fat, you know, it's really opposite of what we've been told by our dietary experts and by the Food and Drug Administration and all these companies that are promoting this healthy lifestyle through high carbohydrates. So a low carbohydrates, and I would recommend getting your carbohydrates down to below 25% of what you eat.
Right.
So, of course, no bread, no pasta, things like that. That's natural. But also, you may not want to use too many vegetables, about half of what the protein is. And you should start slowly converting. If you want to do it faster, then I would cut out the carbohydrates completely.
Okay. And and as far as good fats to be eating, I love salmon. I eat it right out of the can.
Fantastic. Yes.
You know, and lean meats. I love them. But you know, can you name some other things I should be eating?
Well, you can eat chicken and pork. You know, the quality of the meat depends on the quality of what they've eaten.
Correct.
So as long as that's in play, then you could eat anything. I mean, pork has been vilified for many years, but that's mainly because the church decided a long time ago that pigs were eating what humans were eating, and they wanted to cut that particular animal out because they were feeding it the same thing they were feeding the peasants.
Right.
So, you know, pork is a great source of protein. And chicken is too, and turkey is too. And when you're doing chicken, you eat the skin.
Right.
So, you know, start tapping into it. And like I said, what I do is because I do work out like you do, then I need more fat. So I make sure I take some coconut butter. I take a scoop of it any morning. I put it in my coffee, and I use it just as a supplement, because my main concern is that I'm on a high-fat diet. My diet is probably 50 to 60% fat and about maybe 35% protein, and then a few carbs. So that's the way I do it. And as long as I'm very active, that works for me. Everybody's different. My wife eats a little bit more carbohydrates than I do, and that works for her.
Right. What about peanut butter, like for snacks in between?
Peanuts are actually a bean or a legume.
Okay.
Highly reactive in the body. First of all, it's a protein that isn't really able to be digested by our body in the same way that animal protein is.
Okay.
So like a soybean and like a cashew, I would not recommend. Other nuts, fine. Another thing to know about nuts is that they're really high in some of the fats, but not that great to you know, make them a meal out of them. So
right.
A handful is enough for you. And
Okay.
I would definitely stay away with peanuts. You can use some of the other Brazilian nuts and things like that are fine. But, you know, go easy on the nuts if you're trying to lose weight also.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks a lot, Nico.
Okay,
and I'm
Charlie.
going to take your advice and implement it and see how I make out.
Yeah, and let me know how it goes.
Great. Well, thanks for all the information that
My
you give us.
pleasure. And if you need any links to any more information, you can always get me at nico@tfnn.com. Thanks, Charlie. Take care. Okay, so you can see how this works, folks, is that, you know, you really have to tweak your body into changing what it burns. And that really is the most important thing. Because if you're used to being on a higher carb diet or a high carb diet, which most of you probably are, and everybody is going to be different in this aspect, and you're going to have to find out for yourself how that works. And normally what I recommend with people that come to me is that start with breakfast. You don't have to change everything all at once. In fact, some people who are on a real high carbohydrate diet, especially a lot of grains, are not going to, your body's not going to like the switch immediately, because first of all, you're taking toxins out of the body, and your toxins are stored in your fat cells. So when you make that change and you start burning this fat that's been stored for a long time in your body, also what happens is the toxins get released in your blood, and you're not going to feel good in the beginning. So you need to be aware of that. Somebody recently told me, I tried it for 2 weeks and, I felt worse. Well, that's what happens. You've got a lot of toxins in your body, and her skin was bad. She had a lot of allergies and a lot of things that weren't, she didn't have a lot of energy. She needed the sugar buzz all the time. And when she made the switch, just for those couple of weeks, she says, I felt worse, and I couldn't handle it. So you've got to start slowly if that happens, and you've got to realize what's going on. It doesn't mean that the diet is bad. It means that your diet is bad now, and when you make that switch, you're going to start releasing toxins. And for some people, you can make the switch in a couple of weeks. It's fine. Some people it takes a month. Some people it takes 3 months. And some people who are very, very, very ill will take maybe 6 months or longer. So good idea to do some of your own research on this fact and pick up some of these authors that I mentioned, like Nora Gaddis and some of these other people that are on the blogs. And, if you Google Primal Diet, you'll find a whole community in there. In fact, as I launched my website, the Living a Primal Lifestyle.com, I also got onto Twitter and started following people who are on the Primal Diet, because I really like to connect with this whole community. And there's a huge community. I'm following 500 or 600 people now, and all of a sudden I've got over 110, I think as of this morning, 110 people following me. And we're all, trying to get information from each other, what's working and what's not working. Now, real interesting, I picked up a DVD called In Search of the Perfect Human Diet, and it was delivered the other day, and I've watched it, and a very interesting DVD. I recommend you pick it up. I think it's $20 or maybe $25, and it's really not sold in stores, so you have to go to the website In Search of the perfecthumandiet.com, I believe it is. I'll put a link on my website, livingaprimalifestyle.com. But the thing is, it really goes through a step-by-step, has a lot of scientists on there talking about one guy actually said, he says, if you want to know about diets and about experiments and research, the research is really the history of man. And he says, when you look at this whole research of what we ate for 99.9% of our time on planet Earth, and you look at research that somebody's done for maybe a year or a few months on a few thousand people, and it doesn't coincide with the history of what has happened for thousands and maybe millions of years, then maybe that experiment or that research he's done, there's something wrong with that. Because the history is there. We know what we ate for about 2 million years. And that's a fact. And it's really in the last 150 years that everything went terribly wrong. I mean, we've got companies that are promoting foods to us that we know are just not good for us. And we're talking about the sodas, of course, and we're talking about the bagels and the Mr. Donut and the Donuts R Us, or all these companies that are selling these foods that you may think they're great, but if you haven't had them for a month and you go back and taste one of these things, you'll say, "Ew, boy, it's too sweet." Your palate changes. And my God, we want this to change, because we know that it just makes sense that this food is, from a scientific standpoint, this food is not good for us. When you take a donut, you're really putting it in your body, and your body's going crazy to try to get rid of it. And not only is it just storing it, which is bad enough, but it's very toxic. I mean, this is pure sugar that has no place in our nature. The only thing in nature that was that sweet was maybe molasses and honey, and only available for a short time. So there's no way we would be eating this on a continuous basis. And probably the honey that is grown out in the wild by the bees has all the environmental stuff that's in that honey from that surrounding area. So probably a very therapeutic thing that you would take if you were ill, if you wanted to get rid of something. And that's really what our ancestors did. They were very good at finding herbs and all these different greens and things that would help them, maybe roots, things like that that would help them overcome certain problems that they had. But they wouldn't eat these foods as a staple. And, of course, what we've done with the fast food industry, in the beginning, the fast food probably wasn't as bad as it is now, but it started in about the 1950s and 60s when we started substituting our natural fats. Our, people who have been eating the lard and cooking in baking grease and using butter and all these things for cooking. And we started substituting the margarine and things like that. And that's when the whole community of the medical community and the nutrition community kind of got on the bandwagon and said these fats are bad because it raises your cholesterol. Today we do know, and there's thousands of papers on this, that cholesterol is actually something that we need to help plug up some of the problems that our arteries are in. And they may be because of environmental reasons. It may be because genetically you're predisposed to that. But the cholesterol comes in and actually helps those things in your body. So by lowering them artificially with a statin drug, very detrimental to our health. So, I've talked to people that are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, and they may be in a medical home of some kind or assisted living, and what they're feeding them there are a lot of grains, a lot of useless food, and they're just dying very slowly, an agonizing death as far as I'm concerned. They're not getting nutrition. Imagine if we went into these homes and fed these people real food. What would happen? All of a sudden they'd sharpen up and they'd say, geez, what am I doing here? I got to get out of here. So it's a real problem. And I feel that I never want to be in an assisted living home because I don't want to be assisted, not in that way. I want to be assisted by people in the paleo community. I want to be assisted by my friends and my family. And I want to be fed great food. I want to stay active. Nothing is worse than having an injury or a disability where you can't do the things you love. And believe me, this last week, although I think it's been very good for me to be less active because I'm resting up for the tournament, hobbling around is now fun. And, it just something clicks in my head and say, geez, I better keep myself fit because this is not, I don't want to be hobbling around at 80 years old or 90 years old or 100 years old. I want to be as fit. I want to look as good as I do. I want to be able to do the things that I'm doing right now that I choose to do. And if you can fit that stuff into your life, you're going to have a much better life. You're going to have a great quality of life. And that's what we talk about here on Living a Primal Lifestyle. And that's really what I talk about in my newsletter. I try to give you updates on, what's happening out there as far as the different issues with different foods and different additives that they're doing, the purity of the water, and what exercises you can do, and how to get yourself motivated with the right information. Because we need to overcome this problem as not only a personal level, but as a nation, as a family, and as a group of people. We need to be a healthy group of people. And that's the way we can do it. So pick up my Health Signals newsletter. That's where you'll get the information. It's only $10 a month, and believe me, value for value. You get a lot for those $10, the 2 issues on the first and third Friday of every month. So, still time to give me a call. The number is 877-927-6648. You can email me at nico@tfnn.com, and check out my archives also. So I'll be right back.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we pay you more for converting your jewelry to cash.
Let's go to Brian in New Jersey. Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, just want to let you know I did give you some jewelry. My jeweler offered me about $650, but you get a check in the mail tomorrow for about $1,200.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, it's all about honesty when converting your jewelry to cash.
Okay, let's go to Paul in Florida first. Hey, Paul, what's going on?
I want to commend you on the Tiger Metal Exchange. I just did a deal with you guys the other day.
Oh, Oh, good.
And very happy.
Well, I appreciate it. Now, did you sell us jewelry or did you buy coins off us?
I sold you jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What we weighted at was less than you guys said, so, you're totally honest.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we give you the tools to value your gold, and it's absolutely free. Call 866-618-8888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. We've created the easiest, safest, and most honest cash for gold process. Tiger Metal Exchange. It's the only call you need to make.
TFNN is proud to bring you the cutting edge of investment newsletters. Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Ken is a top-down investor who lets price and volume in the major stock indices tell him when to be in the market and when to be out. By using his unique blend of fundamental and technical analysis, Ken will protect your hard-earned capital while realizing breakout gains. Go to TFNN.com today, click Investment Newsletters, and get Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks free for 2 weeks.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Here's what people are saying about Tiger TV.
Let's go to John in Tampa. Hey, John, what's going on?
Hi, Tom. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. You having a good day out there?
A wonderful day. I love your Tiger TV. I watch it every day. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Oh, man, I appreciate you out there watching it. How long have you been watching the Tiger TV?
I'm watching almost a month now, and it's wonderful.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's cool. You see the charts and everything. Thanks so much for the hard work.
Tiger TV, a great news service from TFNN.com.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
So welcome back to the show, folks. I just want to answer a couple of questions here from the chat room. I kind of been ignoring the chat room because of the call, and sometimes I just don't get a chance to look at it. But Axman was saying, what are you tapping into when the sugar is gone? Well, sugar being used as fuel when you're burning sugar and the sugar is gone, you get very hungry. That's exactly what happens. And because you aren't able to burn the stored fat in your body, and if you're not eating any fat, then you just get very hungry and you get crazy and you have to have something to eat. And usually you go towards the carbs that you've been eating and that causes the problem in the first place. What happens when you supplement more fat into your diet and your body starts burning fat? When the fat is gone, you really don't get the same kind of rush of hunger that you do when the sugar is gone. So, because usually everybody has a certain amount of fat, even if you're a 18% fat male, and that's nice and lean, you still got that 80% fat, so you're still burning some fat. When the sugar is gone, it's gone, and you don't have anything else to tap into. So that's where the franticness comes into. And I know about this personally because this is what used to happen to me. If we were on the road and we didn't see any place that we could get to eat, and I started getting really hungry, I would go nuts. I'd snap at my wife, and it wasn't very pleasant until I got that food to eat. So that's what happens. The other thing from MMS is brown rice, pasta, okay, or at least better. No, it really isn't. And actually, probably it's the reverse. The white rice is probably better than the brown rice, and I'll tell you why. And it's the same thing that goes for the whole wheat. And the refined is really not good because it's very starchy and causes a real sugar rush into your bloodstream. But the other problem is with the whole grains is this is where those proteins are. And these proteins cause a lot of problems because they're not, we're not herbivores. And we don't have the kind of stomachs that cows do and things that eat grass. And the worst part of the grass to eat really are the seeds, which is what the grains are. And these are full of different things like the phytates and the different proteins that are hard to digest. In fact, in that film I was talking about earlier, one of the scientists on there says, if you're taking a multivitamin, and you're eating a grain breakfast, or you're eating bread with breakfast, or you're eating cereal, those vitamins are not going to be absorbed by your body because the grains have that same problem. Grains are loaded with vitamins and minerals. They're just not available to us because that's not the type of food our body can digest. And there's certain things in the types of food that we need, just like there's B6 vitamin can only be gotten by eating animal protein. So if you're vegetarian, you're not getting an essential part of a diet. And B6 can only be gotten that way. There's no substitute for a B6 vitamin. You can't get it from any other source besides animal protein, and it's vital to our health. So these are some of the things that you really need to be aware of. Brown rice, no. Pasta is not better. It's not good at all. If you're going to substitute pasta, you can make out of vegetables, you can make a type of pasta. But really, you stop eating it for a while, your body gets used not to eating it. I always loved pasta. I loved clams and linguine. I loved pizza. I just don't have a taste for it anymore. I liked donuts many years ago, too. So that's just the way the body works. You'll learn, your palate changes. And, for your health, what the heck? You can still have great things. You can still drink a beer now and then. You can have some single malt scotch, and you can drink wine. You can get your satisfaction from great meats and great things. So definitely nothing wrong with that. Folks, next week I'm going to be gone, so we'll be replaying one of our great shows. So check it out. Please pick up my Health Signals newsletter, and I'll let you know after the competition what's going on and how well I did. Hopefully gold will be in my hand. So thanks a lot for the show, folks. I appreciate it.